Hollywood, the beach, and celebrities everywhere. This is how we imagine Los Angeles. A glamorous city with glowing sunsets and palm trees swaying in the wind. They tell you this place is magic, a fantasy where everyone makes it. But is that true? It hits different when you're standing here without a filter. Under the palm trees there are tents. Beneath the skyline there are entire streets forgotten by the same city that sells the world a dream. And just a few blocks from Hollywood Boulevard, the reality gets louder than the illusion ever could. I didn't come here to chase the myth of Los Angeles. I came here to see the part nobody talks about. This is Los Angeles without filters.
Welcome to Hollywood, a place that is pretty iconic for Los Angeles and a place that a lot of travelers want to see at least once in their lifetime. It is a place that I always had imagined extremely glamorous, and yeah, this view here is pretty cool. However, in today's video I want to show you the reality of Los Angeles and Hollywood. Los Angeles is the home of the world's largest movie industry. It is a machine that shapes global culture and produces billions of dollars each year. However, it is also the symbol of the huge divide between the glamorous Hollywood part of Los Angeles and the reality that thousands of people are living each day. A lot of money is centralized in the music economy, the movie economy. There are many actors here, many musicians, directors, and so on. The city attracts a lot of people that make a lot of money here. But that money is very centralized within the creative industry. While Hollywood provides a glamorous and rich image of the city, there are other districts that are completely different. Districts where people are struggling to survive on a daily basis. In theory, from up here we would be able to see all of Los Angeles, the entire city, but today it is quite foggy and cloudy, so we can't see that far. You can hardly see downtown over there, just a few shades of it. I'm not sure if you can see it in the camera though. However, you can see that Los Angeles is a huge city. The rich areas are a small part of it. It is true that there are many celebrities living here in Los Angeles, especially Hollywood Hills is quite famous for lots of villas and celebrities. And Beverly Hills, for example, is another famous district that is basically reserved for people with great incomes. Beverly Hills also stands as a symbol for the huge divide between rich and poor in the city. Because only a few blocks away from there, you will see people struggling on the street to afford basic housing. Here in Los Angeles, things are pretty close to each other. You can go to the center, seeing lots of poverty, and you just walk a few blocks and you end up in places like Beverly Hills or in streets where you will see luxury stores and so on. And that is exactly what we are going to explore now. Let's get more closer to downtown Los Angeles, Beverly Hills, and all of the famous districts. Now think a second about how you imagine Hollywood to be. It's a manufactured dream factory, right? And now this is it, actually. We are in the heart of Hollywood. We are walking along the Walk of Fame, and this here is the reality. This is what it looks like. Not glamorous at all, a bit dirty, not beautiful, and pretty damaged. If you take a look at the street, at the road here, it definitely needs some repair work. But not only the road, it's also the Walk of Fame that is not glamorous at all. For sure, we've all seen these images on TV where people put their hands on the ground or place their star here on the Walk of Fame. And this is not what you imagine it to be, right? It's not only the Walk of Fame that is a bit destroyed nowadays, there's also the roads here in Hollywood. I wasn't expecting that. I've read that in Los Angeles there are lots of roads that are quite damaged. However, I wasn't expecting it to see it like this here in Hollywood, because usually the tourist places still look quite well, right? However, since decades, Los Angeles is facing chronic underfunding of road repairs and political gridlock that led to roads being nowadays so destroyed that they cost Americans millions of dollars each year in car repairs. But it's not only the car repairs that are caused by these damaged roads, it's also the emergency cars that have problems to get through the city due to all this damage. And the huge problem nowadays is that the repair work is way slower than the deterioration of the roads. The climate here in Los Angeles and the huge amount of traffic cause the roads to damage way quicker than they would normally do. And the repair work just doesn't keep up with that pace. LA ranks at one of the highest cities on earth. It can compete with cities such as San Francisco and New York that are also extremely expensive. The home ownership rates here in Los Angeles are extremely low compared to a national average. And it's not only the housing prices here, it's also the cost for everyday things such as food, groceries, activities, gasoline. Prices here are elevated and they put a lot of pressure on people that live here. And besides that, the gap between rich and poor gets bigger and bigger. A lot of people here are really struggling. LA is trying to sell us the picture-perfect image, and we imagine it to be a very glamorous and beautiful city, a place where a lot of people would dream of living here. However, that's not the reality for a lot of people. Most people here are struggling, and living here in Los Angeles comes at a very high price. A price that normal people like me, and probably you as well, wouldn't be able to pay. Walking here along Hollywood Boulevard is not at all as I had imagined it to be. There are lots of closed places, there are lots of shady areas, people living on the streets, people obviously being extremely drugged, shady people in general. Not all of them, of course. There are also a lot of tourists here in the area, of course, but it doesn't feel as safe as it should be as a tourist place, to be honest. But apparently they are still doing like premieres here and some celebrations. We can see there's a red carpet there, there's a stage and like a place for people to watch whatever will be going on there. I'm glad to see that though. So Hollywood is still important for the movie industry, of course. To get the full Hollywood experience, we are going to take the metro for like 2 stations. I've heard that is one of the most dangerous places and dirtiest places as well here in Los Angeles. I want to experience it myself, so let's get down and take the metro. To be honest, the metro here is a bit shady. It is quite dark, the light is weird, it gives you a horror movie vibe somehow. The metro itself is extremely old, also a bit dark. There are people with their feet on their chairs, which is not that nice. But besides that, I haven't seen anything strange. It just feels weird. What is interesting though is that a lot of people here simply don't pay. They just enter. I saw that at the other station and I saw it here as well, where there's security actually. There was just someone that just entered like that and the security said something but he kept going. Something that is, well, extremely strange in my opinion and respectless most of all. But yeah, besides that, it's a metro. It's, from what I have seen and experienced right now, it's just a metro. So whether it is as dangerous as they say, the system is as dangerous as they say, I cannot tell you. However, it is surprising to see that people ignore security. I suppose that the security can also do that much if something is happening down there. But anyway, I saw more shady people here in the metro than in other places where I've been to so far. But again, whether it is as dangerous as they say, I don't know. However, it is a place that I would honestly rather avoid than using it too much. Honestly, I'm getting a bit nervous walking around here with a camera in Hollywood still. People here are quite aggressive when they see a camera and stuff. It's understandable that they may not want to be on camera. However, it doesn't make me feel very safe. You just saw 2 men also fighting a lot. Wasn't able to film it since I didn't want to get part of the fight. Anyway, we are leaving Hollywood for now. This was more than enough that I've seen here right now. We are going to a district where the housing crisis will get extremely visible now. We are now driving into an area that is called Skid Row. It is meant to be one of the most dangerous and problematic areas here in Los Angeles, with a lot of homeless people, a lot of drug addicts in the area. I'm not going to get out of the car there. I wouldn't feel comfortable walking around there with a camera in my hand, but I'm trying to show you as best as possible what I'm seeing and explain to you what is going on there from the car. Alright, so here it's starting. There are a lot of people in tents or tarps only on the street.
In 600 feet,
there's a lot of poverty. It's extremely dirty. The road is damaged. Not a place that you would imagine close to Hollywood. There's also, I don't know what this is. I think they are searching for food there, or there were cartons with food, and people were taking it. As far as I know, there are a lot of volunteers working here near Skid Row, providing food and other things to the people that live here on the street. It is extremely dirty, and I've never seen anything like this. There are people sunk against walls, obviously drugged. There's so much garbage here, lots of tents, and you can see the skyline of Hollywood just in front of us. That image is absurd. The contrast is immense. One of the hardest realities that you can witness here on Skid Row is the fentanyl crisis that also hit Los Angeles pretty hard. Fentanyl is a very cheap drug, usually used for medical reasons. However, it is being abused as a drug. It is a very strong opioid, way stronger than any opioids out there, and extremely addictive. Here as well, you can see people on the streets drugging themselves. You can see people talking to invisible things in front of them. You can see people sunk against walls. Most likely they are drugged on fentanyl. And if you now think there are homeless people and drug addicts in all big cities, you are right, of course. However, this here is a completely different dimension. This is extreme and definitely not normal at all. And while, to be honest, I am a little bit shocked to see all of this here. There are a lot of people, working people, I suppose, normal people like you and me, walking here through the streets. I've seen even children, and they are passing all of this mess here in this area as if it was nothing. Of course, if you live in the area, there's nothing you can do about it. You kind of have to accept it and live your normal life, but it feels so strange, to be honest. And if you now think that the housing crisis is only visible in Skid Row, you're completely wrong. It is visible in so many areas of the city. We just drove down Venice Boulevard, a super long street, and there every now and again you also see tents on the streets, you see homeless people on the streets, people that seem to be drugged. So it is visible everywhere in the city. And this housing crisis didn't start from one day to another. It was a slow process. At some point, rents started rising way faster than the paycheck, and that led to people having to live on the streets. It is visible in so many parts of the city, and it is a huge contrast to what we think Los Angeles really is. It is very sad to see all of this. On Skid Row, this problem is way more visible because I believe there people are somehow tolerated on the streets. However, in other districts of Los Angeles, it happens quite often that authorities clean out the roads and the streets. We just had a little snack, and there were two people approaching us, asking us for money. It makes it hard to enjoy a meal, to be honest, and I'm not saying this in a negative way. It's just that I feel like I was enjoying a lot of food while they are struggling to get something basic as food. And the worst is these two people, they didn't look homeless. I suppose they are just having a very low income. It's not only the homeless that are struggling, it's also the middle and lower class that is struggling a lot here with basic things. This entire crisis here is not caused by one single thing, and especially homelessness is often caused by things that are out of people's control, such as mental health problems, economic collapse, addictions, personal tragedies, or housing crisis. This whole problem is very complex and it is not easy to understand. However, it is a problem that we need to talk about because it is so intense here in Los Angeles. This needs to improve. But if you now believe that Los Angeles doesn't have beautiful areas, you're completely wrong. Areas such as Beverly Hills are, of course, very well maintained, extremely clean, but they are also made for the rich, of course. But then there are also the beach areas, Venice Beach and Santa Monica, that are beautiful and very fun to explore. However, I will create a separate video about that and about how to spend your time very well on the beach area of Los Angeles. So make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in next week's video.